Let's go. Hi, I'm Gabi Le Roux, and this is the fourth and second last in my 5-part series of tips of how to give yourself a better chance of success in the South African music industry. Today I want to speak to you guys about contracts and how to go about them. What I have found most useful is the following. Firstly, have a look at who's got the money. Do they have money? Are they going to pay you? Is the contract involving money? A contract essentially is an agreement between two parties. One person gives the other one something and the other one gives something else in return. It normally involves some kind of a service or commodity in return for payment or money or some other form of remuneration. We all know really that that's what a contract is about. Contracts are very seldom made if there's no value exchanged. What's the point of having a contract? So once you've established who has the money, you make an estimate of how much do you think that they will be willing to pay for your product or your production or your composition. If it's an agency or someone who you know, or a big company, an insurance company or whatever, surely you must know they've got a really decent budget. Now you can budget for a string section or for a whole backing line vocalists or for a choir, or to go to great lengths to give them a big production involving a lot of instrumentation, etc. On the other hand, that may not be what they want. They just want what you normally do, but they are prepared to pay you a lot of money for it. Then, by all means, go in big. If they want you to come down a bit, then you start big and you negotiate your way down. But you also have to, up front, set yourself a minimum that you are willing to do it for. And do not compromise your minimum. Go to great lengths to establish a minimum fee for yourself and do not go below that. It doesn't matter if you have to suffer a little bit, but if you compromise too easily, you will dilute your value. And people talk in the industry, I got him to do it for almost nothing because he was desperate, or her. So be very careful before you compromise your minimum rate. And if you're not sure what your minimum rate should be, speak to others who know. You're welcome to contact me. I'll give you an indication once you tell me the details. I'll give you an idea of what you should be charging. It's very easy to get that information from other professionals who will be willing to share their knowledge and experience. Now when it comes to a smaller party, let's say an artist comes to you and they want you to write and produce or just write a hit song for them. First thing you ask is, who's paying for it? If they say they're paying for it themselves, then you say, how much per track are you willing to pay for me? If they give you an indication, you would say to them, look, I can't do it for that much. Can you manage? And then you go up by about 20% from that. You will probably end up about 10% higher if they really can afford it. On the other hand, if they say to you they've got the kind of money that you're looking for, then try and push them a little bit higher anyway, because that's just business. That's good negotiation skills. But if they absolutely cannot pay you what you want, what you think you should get, then you can start getting into the territory of the ownership of the master. You can say to them, look, if you can only afford whatever you can afford, put that money on the table and you will do it for a portion of the ownership of the master. The mastership is 100% value, and if they can perhaps afford what you estimate as 40 or 50% of that, then go into the deal by all means if you really want to work with that artist or that person. If they're really talented and good and you think that it could establish a long-term relationship, don't be greedy. Take what they can afford, but then work yourself a piece of the ownership of the master. Don't give them the entire master for a fee that's below your normal rate. Rather, take what they can afford and then retain for yourself a percentage of the master, so that if something really successful happens with the exploitation of that master, you've got a piece of the action. There you go. The big thing is, do not do anything without a written, signed agreement. Do not do verbal contracts because everybody says, no, a verbal contract is as good as anything else. Insist on a written contract. Then you are safe. You and that person are both covered because you have a record with a signature on that you can produce later when there's a dispute. I can go into the specifics of contracts, but this is not what this series is about. So that should give you enough basic information of how to approach contracts.